Well, let me speak to Member of Parliament for Yape-Kusau, former Deputy Minister of Power, the Honorable John Abdullah Jinapor. You're welcome to Eyewitness News, sir. Hello, sir. JJ, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Thank you.
Great. I spoke a short while ago to the national president of the School Feeding Caterers Association. They are fine. They are happy. I've spoken to the CEO of the Chamber of Independent Power Producers. They're sort of okay. They are looking forward to something positive after having heard from the Minister of Finance. It sounds like things are all good, especially since I didn't hear any boo from your side today when he was making that presentation. It means, and he says that the economy has turned the corner. It means things are pretty good now, aren't they?
Thank you very much. An economy that has turned the corner with a GDP growth rate of 2.5 projected, revised downwards to 1.5%. When the minister appeared before Parliament, he told us that with the completion of an IMF program, this economy will grow at 2.8%. He himself is saying that he won't achieve that. It will grow at 1.5%. Non-oil real GDP, and that's what you are looking at because that's the productive sector. It's revised it from 3% to 1.5%. End year inflation, and inflation is the key issue for all of us. But what inflation does is that it eats away your purchasing power. He was expecting to end it at 18%. He says no, he cannot. Do you know where he wants to end it? 31%. This is a minister who told us that he would engage in zero domestic borrowing because he expected that things will improve. Today, and I refer to page 113, appendix 38, financing, domestic, net, 46 billion. That's how much you expect to borrow, from zero to 46 billion. This is a minister and a government that's already gotten almost 60 billion of debt write-off from the Bank of Ghana. The Bank of Ghana is not a profit-making entity. But when they make profit, they don't even transfer it to the shareholders' equity. They put it in the consolidated fund. And yet, they are writing off 60 billion. And despite the 60 billion, the man wants to borrow another 46 billion. This 60 billion should have been paid. He's borrowing 46 billion. So what it tells you that, in effect, he's borrowing like 100 billion. And he tells us that he's turned the corner. I mean, with the greatest of respect, this government is either confused, inept, or incompetent. I listened to the Chamber of IPPs. They are categorical that what the Minister of Finance is saying, they will not accept it. And that the minister hasn't even had the courtesy to meet them. And so he's living in a different world. He's missing all the targets. Go and check the revenue targets. He's missed them. Go and check all the key targets. The only one that is doing well is the primary balance. And you know why? Because the minister has unilaterally decided that he won't pay all our debt service obligations. Eurobond, foreign bonds, all the bonds. The maturity in terms of both principal and the coupon payments. He's decided that he won't pay. When you don't pay these debt service obligations, your currency will stabilize. But it's stabilizing because of a very poor decision. And so you read the whole budget and tell me what is good about this budget.
Is it not good that he's not asking Ghanaians to pay more taxes?
It's already finished taxing us. Go to the ports. The ports are dry, but the taxes are so exorbitant. People are no more important. Umaru, if you want to open your program and ask importers who import essential commodity, I'm not talking of rice, sugar. I'm talking of like logistics, like vehicles, even tractors. When you import a tractor for farming today, you pay close to 60,000 cedis in taxes, not the duty, the taxes. Look, the ordinary Ghanaian is going through a level of unprecedented, excruciating suffering. Last year's inflation was about 40%. This year's inflation is about 31%. That is year on year. That's how we calculate our inflation, year on year. So imagine if last year was 40-something percent and this year is 30-something percent. You are worse off. And yet he says that you pay your coupon rate of 5%. Look, this government, they have overstayed their welcome. We just have no choice than to tolerate them for another 1 year. We must boot them out. I'm telling you for a fact.
I was asking Dr. Patrick Osumen if it's a big deal that he has not requested for some more money to spend. And the issue was whether there is even enough to have been requested for. You reckon that the non-request is a big deal, or there really isn't a big deal because there's already a fiscal year program that is being run, which program will continue to run?
The non-request is inherent in the Bank of Ghana's waiver of about 60 billion. That is money the minister should have paid. The Bank of Ghana may only do that through printing because they don't have that money sitting down. If Bank of Ghana had provisioned that as government debt, then we can be engaged in a different discussion. But when the Bank of Ghana decides that they will write it off, who will pay for that 60 billion? Where is the Bank of Ghana going to get that 60 billion to make that payment? If you deduce it and you do the analysis, it simply means that, look, you and I will pay for that 60 billion. So it's not just about coming to say, let me go and borrow another 60 billion. If the man had to pay 60 billion and is being written off, it hits all of us. And I tell you, the suffering is going to get worse.
Very well. We pray that it doesn't get worse. But thank you so much for speaking to us. That's John Abdullah Jinapor. He's Member of Parliament for Yape Kusau. He's a former Deputy Minister in charge of power.